Hello, everybody, and welcome to a live stream on the channel here. We have not done a live stream on here in a very long time, but today is a very special day. Today, we are going to be looking at Titanic Honor and Glory Demo 401, the update 2.0, which we've been waiting for a very long time. This update has been in the works for nearly a year, and I want to thank the team over at THG for sending me a copy of the game early so I could make this live stream. They're live at the moment right now if you want to check out their stream too, but right now we're going to be going through the ship ourselves and exploring all of the new interiors as well as the ones we've already seen before. Just before we get started, I'm going to read out a little thing that the team sent me just to show you some of the things that are in the works. So this is Titanic Demo 401. This will become available to the rest of you in a few. Thank you, One Door Films, for the sub. This will come available to you in the next, I think, hour. I think within the next hour you will have this game yourself, and you'll be able to walk around and check it all out for yourself. But this is demo 401. Project 401, which is a separate game, is going to be coming out, I think, in a couple of months, and that will be coming out on Steam, and you will be able to buy it on Steam. And I think there'll be more of the interiors, or there'll be a more up to date interior compared to what we're seeing in the demo today. In this demo, there's going to be over 50% of Titanic's interior, which is incredible. And a majority of that 50% that isn't in it is just cabins, like cabin after cabin, which is just a kind of repeat. So we're really getting all the major spaces that we want to see in this video today. And some of the improvements over this version compared to the last version of Demo 401 is the performance. You've probably seen me live stream previous versions of Demo 401 before, and you know that the performance is not the best. Even on higher end PCs, the performance can really take a hit. But this version of Demo 401 is running on the latest version of Unreal Engine, which is Unreal Engine 5, and the performance has been drastically improved since then. So I'm really excited to jump in. I have been playing around with it. I've had this copy for the last week, and I've been running around kind of checking out all the spaces. But now I'm going to go in and I'm going to show all of you. So let's get started. I kind of want to, wherever you want to see, does it support VR? I don't think the demo supports VR at the moment, but it will. Project 401, which is coming out on Steam, will have full VR support, and it'll also have full controller support as well, which is very important for people who do not like to play with mouse and keyboard. I'll just read the chat here as well. Hey Emer, good to see you. Yeah, so yeah, also actually, there's a few other things that I need to show you as well. Um, some of the cool things that are going to be coming out in Project 401 in a couple of months is we're going to have a day-night cycle, which and we're going to have a sunset mode, which is something we currently don't have in this version of the game. Um, the day-night cycle allows us to kind of explore the ship at the nighttime or at the sunset, and it'll be kind of cool to see, especially because this is running on Unreal Engine 5. The lighting is incredible, as you can see just in this little screenshot. Actually, in the menu, the lighting is ridiculous. In Unreal Engine 5, it's amazing how realistic it can look. So imagine we're only going to be seeing kind of daytime lighting today, but you can imagine in Project 401 we're going to be able to see nighttime and sunset lighting as well, which is really cool. So I see Herman wants to see the pool first. So yeah, we can definitely do that. Unfortunately, with this version of Demo 401, a lot of the spaces are split up into multiple different levels. So you can't go into every single room without having to jump through a loading screen. However, the loading screens are very short, especially if you're running the game on an SSD. So it's not a big deal, and you don't have to back out to the menu to change into a different level. You can just walk up to a door and go through it, which is amazing. So let's go and check out the plunge bath and all the spaces down there. So there should be, yes, so we'll go to the baths and we'll have a look. And I just have to give it to the team. They've done an outstanding job on this version of Demo 401. I just see the screen has gone black. Let me have a look at that and see. How's everybody doing today? This is probably the first time a lot of you are hearing my voice, which is pretty different for this channel. If you want to see more live streams like this in the future, be sure to let me know, because I'm more than happy to do them. if you're all interested. So here we've just spawned in here. You can see that's going to take us to the first class stairway through that bulkhead there. We'll go through there in a minute. But here we go. Here is the swimming pool. So I think one thing you can just see here, I'm gonna keep mentioning this, but the lighting, just seeing the lights, the sunlight come through the portholes is beautiful. I love it, and just you can see that even the shine on the water is just beautiful. Um, yeah, you're right. Like I don't care about the loading screens either. Like, and they're actually really quick on this. In previous demos, they were really long, but uh, I don't care personally about the loading screens. It doesn't bother me that much at all. Um, but yeah, so here is the swimming pool. If you've ever played the team's other game, Britannic Patroness of the Mediterranean, you would know that the swimming pool, if you look in the RMS version of the what Britannic would have looked like if she was a passenger liner, you can see that this room is way more luxurious looking, and that was taken from kind of every time a ship is made, there's obviously going to be improvements over the last one. So Titanic had many improvements over Olympic, including the closed promenade and adding the extra first class cabins. Whereas Britannic was going to have even more improved spaces, such as a children's playroom. I think there was going to be a hairdresser as well as the barbershop that already existed. And then, of course, the swimming pool, which the swimming pool was going to be actually even bigger than Titanic's one, but it was also, if you've played Patroness of the Mediterranean, you know that the interior is absolutely amazing. Like I think there's a lot of wood paneling in it and a lot of green marble, which just looks very pretty in my opinion. But yeah, can we go down for a swim? I actually didn't try this out. Let's see if we can get into the swimming pool. We can. Oh, let's go down. This is very cool. Oh, you can go underwater as well. Wow, that's very cool. Why is the pool not fully filled? It kind of is filled. Like, I mean, I can't imagine the water ever being higher than this blue tile. Um, I imagine this is as high as it would ever be. It wasn't for doing any like dives or stuff, anything. I think it was just kind of for people who wanted to swim up and down and do a few lanes. Um, wasn't Titanic one of the first ships? It was. It was. If Olympic wasn't, then the Olympic class liners were definitely one of the first to feature. I'm not entirely sure if they were the first, but if they weren't, then they were very close to being the first ships to feature um, swimming pools on board. How deep is it? I don't know what that is. Is that feet? Or I'm Irish, so we use meters over here. That is not 4 meters, I know for sure. But yeah, it's not that deep. Like any you wouldn't drown in it. Like I hope you wouldn't drown in it anyways. But yeah, okay. I think we're done in here. But they've done a great job. And if you've got any questions, keep them coming, and I'll try and answer them to the best of my knowledge. Here's the electric bath. Now this is something that is very interesting. Has anyone here played Titanic Adventure Out of Time, which was the game that came out in, was it like the late 80s or the 90s? I've actually been meaning, I've never played it, but I really want to, and I was thinking of actually playing it live on this channel as well. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know. But that features in that game as well. But we've seen this before in Titanic Honor and Glory Demo 3, but we've never been able to come into this room here. We've kind of been stuck behind this window. And I remember they actually did have somebody inside it. He seems to have moved on. He's probably been in there long enough, but that is very cool that we can see it. It's a very interesting piece of machinery. Um, it was steam, like it wasn't like a bath that you got wet really, and it was just, I think it was steam, like a sauna kind of setup that it was. I don't know entirely how it worked, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Move along down here. What have we got? We've got just kind of these some private shower rooms, and I don't know what this actually is. Just a table, I guess, for putting stuff on or for washing stuff. But yeah, private shower rooms, and they're not labeled. And here is the beauty. This is another. I think this is a sauna as well. I'm not entirely sure, but why is the electric bath guy gone? I mean, he's been there since what, 2016, so I'd say he's been in there long enough. I don't think he needs to be there any longer. um, it looked like he was dead. It did look like he was dead. Um, it was just a like static player model. You know, he didn't move or anything. He was just lying there. But it was a cool little Easter egg to put in. I mean, you couldn't really tell. This door would have been closed, and we would have been kind of stuck behind this glass. But I want to see the engine room. Yeah, we're definitely going to the engine room because that's, I think, one of the most important interiors in this version of the demo because it's just very cool. You've probably seen the teasers of it already on THG's YouTube channel, but oh my god, it is amazing. We are going there for sure. Here's the Turkish baths. This is a room that I actually always forget exists on the ship until I'm playing either Titanic Honor and Glory or I see a picture or Demo 401 and I see a picture. I usually actually forget that this place exists just because it's just a room that I don't really remember kind of just being stapled into my mind as much as some of the other spaces, but it's a very cool place. The interior is very interesting. It's very cool, and I think a lot of in the wreck when they went down to the wreck and they went into this room, like you could still kind of see a lot of the kind of the wooden paneling and stuff in this room, and you could even see some of the chairs. Some of them were flipped over and stuff, but you could still actually see them all in there. So that's a very cool space. So yeah, I'm going to try and avoid going through linen storage. We'll have a look in here. I'm going to try and avoid going back out to the menu. See how quick that loading screen was? Wasn't a problem. I'm going to try and avoid going back out to the menu. So we're just going to go from door to door and see how we get on. But so this is the linen storage. This is where all the towels and kind of face cloths would have been kept. Very cool. I do wish they didn't add a jump feature. I wish we could jump and just peep up and look through that portal. It would be very cool. I don't think there was there a jump in the previous versions? I don't think there was, but it would be nice to add a jump little feature. Even if we could just jump up on that little thing and peep out the window, that'd be very cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Olympic had a Turkish bath as well. I don't think that was a Titanic exclusive. I'm pretty sure Olympic had that as well. So there's more linen storage in here. Very cool, very cool. Fireman's hose. Can't go through there. So let's bounce up here and see where this door takes us to. Scotland Road. Ah, here we go. This is a very we've seen this in multiple versions of the demo before, and in nearly any game that features the Titanic, you will have this space in it. Just because it's a, I like to kind of call it like a spine interior of the ship because it nearly runs the full length of the ship, and can it's kind of a hallway that can get you anywhere you need to go on these lower decks. It's a pretty heavy game. Well, it's Gabriel, it's not really, I have to say, compared to the previous versions, it's not as tough to run. If you've got just a decent computer that isn't that old, you should be able to run it at a decent spec. I'm on a pretty high-end computer at the moment, so I'm not suffering from any performance loss ever. But you definitely give it a go when the demo comes out. I think it comes out in like a half an hour. You should give it a go and see if you can run it because who knows? I do know that the previous version of Demo 401, version 1.4, that was very hard on performance, and even Demo 3 was as well. But definitely try this version out because I think you'll be surprised if you. I think your computer would be able to run it. So we're here on Scotland Road, and this is really cool. So this is the kind of place that you wouldn't really see as a passenger on board. It's kind of like it was named Scotland Road after the crew because a majority of the crew would have been hired from Scotland Road, which is not in Scotland. It's in Southampton, I believe. So that's where a lot of the crew came from, and a lot of like crew cabins and stuff would be down here. But the third class, I believe, also had access to this because I believe this is the third class dining area. Let's have a look while we're here. I know we said we were going to go to the engine room, but we'll have a look here first. Looks laggy. It doesn't feel laggy. I have a frame rate counter on and I'm getting 67 FPS, and I have all the settings on their max. So it might look laggy on the stream just because I'm live streaming it, but I can assure you it's not laggy on my end. Cool film idea for the Olympic, ultra reliable in World War II. Yeah, that's one of the things that I kind of wish happened. I wish if Olympic hadn't got scrapped in the late 30s, she probably would have been put into service, troop service for World War II, and probably would have been alongside like Aquitania. Aquitania obviously survived the Second World War, but she was brutally damaged just from abuse from all the troops that she transported. I believe actually after after the Second World War, when Aquitania returned to Cunard for the Paintings of Beautiful. Yeah, I was just going to mention actually. I love how on ships they like promote other ships. Like so, there's multiple different posters for ships here. I think there's a few White Stars as well. Is that? Yeah, that's one of the big four there. That could be the Celtic. But yeah, Aquitania was brutally damaged by the troops and during the Second World War. And when she returned to Cunard for passenger service, and when they reinstalled her grand piano, shortly after, I think the voyage after they had reinstalled it, it actually fell through the floor and fell onto the floor below it because of how just damn like the weight. It couldn't take the weight of it anymore, and it just no one was hurt or anything, but it just couldn't take the weight anymore. And I think Cunard kept her in service for a little less than a year after that, and then she was sold for scrap, just because she couldn't take it anymore. She'd been in service for quite a while, like built in 1914. There's a lovely poster of Olympic. There's more ones of Olympic there. I forgot you can actually zoom in with your mouse wheel, so you can see there's the bread. And actually, here's a nice little detail. The table is set for looks like breakfast, and it's for April 14th. So we can actually see what would have been on the menu for that day. And I think when we go up to the other classes, we can see that as well in the first and second class spaces, which we will be doing shortly. Yeah, I believe we see in James Cameron's Titanic film, Jack and Rose. I think they actually come out. This is the whole like they come out onto Scotland Road. They come through one of these like service doors, and that's when they like the steward comes up to him and is like, you have to pay for that. That's damage, and they tell him to shut up. That's done on Scotland Road. I'm pretty sure, and you can see there's a lot of confused passengers running around because they're like they don't. This place was like a maze to them. First class passengers were actually given a little map when they boarded to help them navigate the ship because if you weren't on Olympic, it was a completely new ship. You didn't know your way around. So yeah, let's go to the engine room. It's back down here. Actually, we'll have a look at the engine room. Britannic's organs still exist today. It does. It does. A lot of Britannic's interiors that were never installed do exist to this day. I've actually had the pleasure of visiting some of them myself in Dublin. There's a private house in Dublin which has a few of these wooden panelings from what would have been Britannic's smoking room and her one of the first class parlor suite cabins. And I was very lucky to be able to see some of that. There was also actually some of the banisters from the grand staircase, like the wooden kind of paneling that would have went around them. Some of that was installed, but some of it also wasn't, and I was very lucky to be able to see some of that in Dublin. I don't know. I keep avoiding the engine room. Let's go to the engine room because that is a very important place. I just need to remember where is the door. It's one of these doors. I should probably read the signs. Plumber's store. It was in demo 3 the door was originally open. This is it, isn't it? This is the boiler room. I think we can get to the engine room through the boiler room. So this is boiler room 5. So here is just let everything load in. It can be a bit laggy if you don't let it load in. So here is a familiar spot. Oh, Yeah, have to give it a second to load in. Here's a familiar spot. If you remember in demo 3, we could get here. Oh yeah, there's that shot. So we are right behind the. I think that's the first funnel. We're behind the first funnel right now, and if we go in here, this is the shaft that would drive all the smoke up from the boilers right up into the funnel and then out to the top. This is the view I was looking for. This is we go through here with Robin, and he can't go any higher than this. But just being able to see the funnel up there is a very cool shot. I think it's very cool. So let's head down. And let's actually have a look at the boiler room, because the boiler room is a space we've seen it in demo 3, but in demo 3 we couldn't walk around it. We had to kind of stay up on these ladder levels here. So but in demo 4.1 we have been able to go down to it before. So yeah, in demo 3 we were like limited to these walkways here, which was really annoying. Just go under that. But we can now actually get down onto the ground level and look at this. Just seeing like all the coal on the ground, and like that's that's what they do to take away the ash. So that's a room we've missed. Actually, I should actually go back up and check that out. But all the ash from the boilers would have been put in these buckets, and it would have actually been dumped in the sea. But if they were in a place maybe where it couldn't be dumped, let's say they were in port or they were docked somewhere, they wouldn't be able to just throw the ash into the water. So it would be put in these bags, and it'd be brought up, hoisted up through that tube, and it'd be brought into a special room, and it would be kept there until they were far enough out at sea where they could actually throw it into the ocean. You can see the coal burning away in the boilers. The boilers are incredible. I love the texturing on the boilers is really cool. Really love this room. So that's one of the coal bunkers there. There was a coal bunker. When I was playing around in the demo earlier, um, I did see something very cool. I want to try and find it. You probably know what I'm talking about, but I do want to see if I can find it. If I can't find it, then I'll just say what it was. But it could take me a while to find it. I think it was in Boiler Room 6, but we're in Boiler Room 6 now, so it might be in Boiler Room 5, which we were in a minute ago. So I'll just run back to it. Oh, we can't go that way. Oopsie daisies. We have to go up and over, I think. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find the little Easter egg, but there was an Easter egg to the coal bunker fire. You could just see a kind of a piece of coal on fire in the one of the coal bunkers. I wasn't able to find it there, but if I can find it later, I will. I don't know what's up here. This is kind of cool. It's just a piece of machinery. See, this is what I like about this new version of Demo 401. You know, these are places that we could have never dreamed of going into in the previous demos, just because no one really knows much about them. But even like this space here, being able to go into them little corners of the ship is very nice. See, there's another one of them there. So yeah, I thought I'd be able to go through here, but it doesn't look like I can. So I don't know how to get into the other the aft boiler rooms to be able to get down to the engine room. I believe I have to go back up onto Scotland Road, which I'm actually kind of lost in now. You can get lost in here fairly easy. It is hard to remember all the rooms, yeah. All our engines are massive. Yeah, the reciprocating engines are absolutely huge, and we will be seeing them as well. Let's go through here, and I think we go up the ladders here, and I think this brings us. There's another one of the ash buckets. I believe we can get out through here. Oh. Oh. This is kind of cool. Just kind of like an overview. You'll be able to look at the tops of the boilers. Hmm. I may be lost, and I may have to use the help of the menu. I do. I was sent a map, like of what interiors were completed, but I'm still kind of lost. No, here we are. This is right. This is Scotland Road here. We made it. What boiler room is? I believe we were just in boiler room 6. There was the boiler room we just came out of. But let's see if I can find. No, okay, so that was number 5. Were we in number 5 as well? Yeah. Oh no, we just came out of boiler room 6. Yeah. Yeah. Shut the door. Thankfully, I don't need to worry about closing doors behind me. The game does it for me. Um, Surely one of these boiler room doors will give us access. No. Emergency room. Engineer's Promenade. We can cut through the Engineer's Promenade from here. That's handy. So I can't actually go through any of them doors to get me to the boiler room, which is quite annoying. Or the engine room, sorry. First class main stairway. Let's go back into boiler room 6. Let's see. There's the coal fire reference. That's very cool. Because I've been playing around with this for a week, and I didn't have any trouble getting into any of the interiors that I needed to go to. I had actually recorded a video as well, like a not a live stream, but a recorded video, which I was going to upload, but then I forgot to record my voice. And then I decided, you know what, a live stream I think would be better because then I'll be able to interact with you, and if you have any questions, I can try and answer them. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can. I'm going to just use the trusty old menu to get to the engine room because I do not know how to get there. Whoops. Is the engine room not even listed as a... Oh, dear. How can I get it? It would be my best way to get it. Oh, you know what? I can use Sky. I can actually use Scotland Road. So if I can't actually... So we're literally right back where I was, but... I think I can actually use Scotland Road. I just haven't explored Scotland Road fully, so... I should be able to get... from here. So yeah, let's run down here. They can't leave out the engine room. No, they cannot. It's a space that actually had never been modeled before. So it's really here. This is where I wanted to go. Yeah. Okay. Here we go, everybody. This is the engine room. At last. You know, I was worrying that they were gonna. When I first came in here, I went this way and I saw these buckets, and I was like, "There's no way they're gonna block us off from going down there." Thankfully, they haven't. They have allowed us to go all the way down, and that is exactly what we're going to do now. Look at this. We are kind of limited to where we can't. I don't think we can go anywhere forward from there, but being just here is just about fine. Being able to see all this is incredible. There's no sounds, unfortunately. I'm hoping that in Project 401, when that's released on Steam, they'll do sound effects for the game because there isn't any sound effects at all in this version. There were sound effects in previous versions, but unfortunately not in this one. That is very cool. We can see the telegraphs there. That would be instructing. That would be the bridge telling the engine room what to do, and then they'd relay the command back, confirming that there's a telephone. I believe that direct communication to the bridge there. But yeah, you can just see the size of them. Like you can see there's natural sunlight coming in up there, which is from one of the air vents, I believe. We can't really get over to see, unfortunately. Can I get over on the other side? I don't think so. I can get slightly further. Yeah, so that's the big kind of draft up there. Unfortunately, we can't go up there. It would have been really cool if we could have climbed to the top of that. But we can do that always later. We can actually go up onto the boat deck. We have to go through the door. We can go out onto the boat deck and we can have a little look-see from that perspective. We'll just run down here because these doors have all been opened up. These would have all been closed in previous versions. So here's the third class entrance, and there's some potatoes. Second class forward staircase. We'll go there in a minute. So there's one of the cargo holds. We're back at the stern now, so that would have been removed, and the cranes that are built onto the deck would have allowed cargo to be lowered in all the way down. This is the other one here then as well, and there's one on the bow as well, which we can go to in a minute. You can see we're kind of getting near the back here. You can see the hull is curving in. Yeah, we see the engine room in Cameron's film multiple times. We see it shortly after they leave Ireland, and we see it before the iceberg, or during the iceberg collision. And actually, we see it before it as well. And the boiler rooms as well. We see all of that multiple times through the film. Here's another third class space here, and you can see now we're actually getting up to the higher decks. So we'll actually have a look at some of those spaces now, and then we'll work our way back down to kind of second class areas. But here we are. Ooh, look at that. An interesting discovery that I just realized on THG stream, and I didn't actually notice this when I was running around the map myself, is that the benches now have brass fittings on them. Originally, like in everything to do with Titanic movies and games and any experiences, it's always been black. And they've recently just decided to change them to this brass color. I'd love to know where they got that information, because it's just very weird seeing them look like this and always kind of visioning them as being black. But I mean, if it's correct, it's correct. So I'd love to know where they got that information from, just to kind of update some of my own stuff with that. Yeah, you can see there's more of these beautiful posters. Again, really nice stuff. Why is it slow to climb the stairs? It's not oh well, it kind of is. I see what you mean. I'm just not running. You press shift to run, so I'm just not doing any of the running. That's why. So here's the two cargo holes we were just looking at. So these cranes would have been used to lower stuff down into them. They could support 2.5 tons, which is pretty good weight for like small little cranes like these. You know, you wouldn't expect them to be able to take much load, but that's fairly handy. I think I'm trying to figure out, we cannot see, because there's a mad discussion of this. Here's a question, here's a poll for you guys. I'm not going to set it up officially, but I want to ask you on your opinion. Do you believe that these signs should be painted red or black? These are the caution, stay clear, triple screw signs. Do you believe they are red or do you believe they are black? We can't tell if they actually are black. The back of them is black. I don't know if the front is. There's no way of telling. We can't like jump over the rail and see. But do you think they were red or do you think they were black? We've seen recent people show them as black, but we've always kind of imagined them as being red. So what do you guys think? do I think? I honestly don't know because I had always imagined them as being red, but now there's some pretty big people coming out saying that they're black. So I actually don't know, but I like the look. The red looks more appealing, but we don't we don't know. So here we are on the docking bridge. Very cool again. You can see the telegraphs and the wheel. Very cool space. Not sure if it was ever actually used on Titanic, unfortunately. Probably would have been used on the way into New York, but yeah, unfortunately not. This is a cool little. I'm not sure where it leads, but it's basically like a cup, to shout. Like you could talk to someone through it, but I don't know where it leads. It goes into here and it goes down through this, but I want to say the engine room, but like I don't know because for it to go to the engine room would, I believe the red would give it some contrast. Yeah, it does, and that's why it looks better. It like it pops, it stands out. Um, which is why which is why I find it so appealing, which is why it's so nice. It stands out really nicely in the movies and stuff and on models. Because that's another thing. I'm in a group actually. I'm in a group on Facebook that is all about people building the trumpeter Titanic 1/200 scale model, and I'm going to be building one of them shortly myself, and I'll probably live stream myself building that if you'd like to see it. But that is a big controversy that people have. People always are fighting over, oh no, it shouldn't be painted red, it should be painted black. And I suppose that's a thing that's going to happen with these benches now as well, is people aren't going to know what's the most accurate kind of. Just there's a lot of doubt. Like that's very cool. The White Star buff on the funnels is looking very nice. We've seen the color change several times. I'm not going to head in here for a second. We've seen the color change several times, but I like this color the most. It looks very nice. That's another thing in this models, the model group on Facebook. Everyone's always like, "What's the right shade to paint the funnels?" But this color is very nice. It's got like a nice pinky kind of, a very pale pink hint to it, which is really nice. So here we go. Here's the second class staircase, and this is very cool. There's a famous picture on Olympic of people kind of just hanging out in this room, and that is the stern's mast right there. That's what that big tube is. So that runs all the way down through the ship, which is kind of cool. And I believe this was I believe there was a little door in it that you could get inside. I'm not sure why you'd want to get inside it, but I think you could. I know you can obviously get inside the front mast to get up into the crow's nest, but yeah, very cool. And here is the second class smoking room, which is very nice. Which honestly doesn't look that like outdated. Like I've seen a lot of spaces that are very similar to this that have only been built recently, like in real life. So this is a very nice room, very cozy feeling as well. A lot of the rooms on Titanic have this like very cozy feeling to it, and we're going to see that especially in some of the first class spaces. Chessboard, hashtag Glenn, love you. Here's an elevator. I did see there was a comment earlier about the elevators being very pretty on the Olympic class. They're very nice. They're enclosed around these like wooden panels, which is really nice. If you've seen previous ships like Lusitania, Mauritania, they didn't have their elevators enclosed. They were like they've just like cages that were connected to a cable and would go up and down. But I like seeing the elevators inside these kind of wooden boxes. It looks more like safe, but also just looks more kind of better. It's better. It looks more safe, and it just looks better to the eye in multiple ways. Oh, and I just realized I made a very big mistake. This is the second class smoking room. Apologies. Downstairs, I believe, is the second class reading room. I think this is the second class smoking room. Sorry. Apologies if anyone is mad screaming at me right now saying that's wrong. But you can see, look, they got little matches and stuff. You can go through here, and that's the staircase again. You can see the mast coming through again. So it actually comes through this room, and I think it actually goes through. Oh wow! It goes through the next level as well. So we'll go up another deck. Go on to And actually, a nice little feature, which James just mentioned to me earlier. James, the creative director of Titanic Honor and Glory at the moment, and Project 401. The clock, all the clocks in the game show the real time. So for me, currently, it is 12 minutes past 11, which is, as you can see, what it is on the clock, which is just a very cool uh, little hint, little Easter egg kind of thing. But it's very cool to see that working. And we're on the boat deck. Now, here we go. This is a very cool space. The boat deck is obviously, look at that. That is amazing. Seeing like just all of that. And the smoke effects look really good. In previous versions of the demo, especially in demo 3, the water just doesn't look right. I understand water is a very hard thing to make in games, but it is really nice. This water looks a million times better than the previous versions, so they did a really good job on that. And the lifeboats as well. Just it's so nice to see. Kind of, I've seen Kyle's. I believe Kyle would have modeled this stuff up here, but correct me if I'm wrong. But if any of you have ever played Virtual Sailor and have used Kyle's Titanic mod, you remember kind of that it was all kind of, a lot of Kyle's Titanic mod was 2D due to the limitations of the game. You couldn't make it that detailed, but it's amazing to see like all these things are now 3D properly as they should be, instead of like 2D transparent textures. Yeah, we're taking a close look at the lifeboats right now. Can't really get any closer to this than them, but it's nice to see the nameplates as well, and the weight capacity and the rating for the lifeboat, the nameplates and the Liverpool as well. Very nice. Funnels are looking very great today. There's the skylight for the aft ground staircase. The funnels do look amazing. Yeah, they're. I don't know. Have they remodeled them or something since the last version? They just stand out way more to me in this one. Sorry, this is the engineer's promenade. We have to just skip through here. That's the door that was asking us on Scotland Road if we wanted to go to the engineer's promenade. That was it there, I think. Here's one of the expansion joints running through the ship to let the ship kind of flex in the ocean, would let it rock. So because if the ship was one solid thing, as soon as it would hit a wave, it would just fracture, it would crack. It needs to have flexibility to be able to move with the water. Interesting note, the collapsible boats were intended as a decoration, but the irony is that they were actually used. I don't think they were intended as a decoration. Like I think they were just put on to reassure, because there was a lot of dispute over the lifeboats. People were saying, the designers were saying that, you know, the laws at the time were for any ship over 20,000 tons, I think it was, to have 16 lifeboats minimum. But Titanic was double the tonnage, over even more, like 40, 45, 45,000 tons. And they were only going to put 16 lifeboats on it. But then or well, they did only put 16 lifeboats on it. They collapsed boats. I don't know. Like I think they were just always intended to be there. I don't think it was a decoration thing, because they're fully functional. Like if they were a decoration thing, I feel like they would have not like maybe functioned. But yeah, they're not full lifeboats compared to um, the main David lifeboats. And Thomas Andrews, who designed these davits, actually designed them so that an extra lifeboat could fit inside of this one. You can see that on Olympic after Titanic sinks. Olympic gets extra lifeboats. Um, and you can see during her wartime service, you can see these extra lifeboats inside the existing ones. Um, but yeah, they were always kind of intended to carry more, but because the law didn't need them to, they didn't. It was simple as that, really. I do think they really should have. They definitely should have, I think, put full lifeboats instead of these collapsible ones. I think they should have just put extra lifeboats instead of the smaller ones. Now, I understand that putting a full sized lifeboat up there probably wasn't easy to, it wouldn't be easy to get down. That is obviously way lighter than the collapsible raft is obviously way lighter than a lifeboat. So, I mean, they even struggled to get these down during the sinking. So I can't imagine trying to get one of these down off the roof. But we are actually going to pop into the bridge now because we saw it in the loading screen, so we might as well have a look. But before we do, we'll just have a look over here at the forecastle. That is amazing. The shadows are looking great. The lighting is just really well done. Like I've mentioned it probably like 4 or 5 times during the stream already, but it's just something that I have to keep bringing up. Gabriel, I always had a question. If the Titanic was a Royal Mail ship, why does it say SS on the Titanic's lifeboats? That's a very good question. So, the Royal Mail ship was a kind of like a. If the ship was contracted by Royal Mail to carry mail across the ocean, it would gain the title RMS. But the ship could lose that contract. And technically, so all ships at the time would have been SS, no matter what, whether they carried mail or not. They're still SS Titanic, SS Olympic. But because they were carrying Royal Mail, they're allowed to carry the title of RMS. So that's why you saw so many ships on the transatlantic crossing have RMS in their name because they were carrying Royal Mail, and that's why you don't see that on any ships anymore because all the mail would be carried by airplanes. Um, but of course, Queen Mary 2 actually has the RMS name, but I don't think she carries Royal Mail because I mean it would take some, it's a very slow journey compared to air travel at the moment. But it was kind of like the Royal Mail was kind of like a fancy title for the ships, and the Olympic class obviously wanted them and they got them. But let's say they broke the contract or something and the ship no longer carried Royal Mail, then it wouldn't be called RMS, it would be called SS. So that's what the RMS kind of stands for, and that's why the lifeboats don't say RMS Titanic on them. Because imagine if they made RMS Titanic lifeboat um, covers and then they lost the contract. They'd have to take them all off and change them. So there was just no point. So it was just better to put SS Titanic on it because that's what her proper title is. It's cool. Nice little detail. I love that font. That's a very nice font, actually. So yeah, I just realized I walked to the bridge without talking there. I need to go in and have a look. So we can see that the telegraphs are set to a head full. I don't think we are moving. They just haven't made the ship move. But we saw the engines are running. The telegraphs are at a head full, so we're underway, which is really cool. That's the emergency telegraph. Obviously that wouldn't be in use at the moment. And then this one here is the tug's telegraph, which is for communicating with the tugboats when coming to and from docks. This, I believe, is the center propellers telegraph, and it's currently not running, so we only have the 2 propellers. Our starboard and port propellers are only the ones running at the moment, which is interesting, but okay. Yeah, very nice to see the bridge rendered in. They've changed the bridge multiple times in the game. It keeps changing, and I'd love to know like where they're getting the information from. like there's always a few changes, little things change in each version of the game. But yeah, the bridge is one of my favorites too. It's very nice. And here is then the enclosed wheelhouse, which is probably like I think I find this way nicer than the actual bridge itself. I can see here's the phones for communicating with various rooms. The chat room isn't available, unfortunately, which I wish it was. The chat room would have been just in here. And it would have been, I think, these two windows as well. I wish that was incorporated. Unfortunately, it's not. Hopefully, in a future version, it will be. There's the clock again. You can see it's still telling the real time. And here's a nice little blueprint, kind of showing it's a deck plan showing all the decks of the ship. Very nice. They've got these blue blinds, window covers on the windows, which is interesting. I had always originally thought that there was kind of like wooden shutters that were on these, but it looks like they've gone with blue blinds now, which is interesting. Very nice color, kind of like a royal blue, stands out very nicely. So we can go back through here, which brings us to the kind of crew's officers' quarters. I don't know if any of the officers' cabins are modeled. However, I do know there's a very special room that is modeled here, which is the Marconi wireless room, which is, I think, a very nice space, obviously, but I think it's a very important space, and I'm very glad that it's a space that is included. I think it's essential to include this room in any kind of Titanic game or project, just because this room saved so many lives, believe it or not. Like when the wireless operators, they stayed in here until the very end, until they lost power, trying to send out all the distress calls that they could to get as many people here, ships here as possible to save them. So they really, like, it's really amazing to see this room modeled in. And Tom Linsky made a short movie several years ago about this room and about the wireless operators. You should definitely give it a watch. It's on YouTube. I forget the name of it. The name's gone out of my head, but it's like a 30-minute short film in black and white, and he completely rebuilt. It's in real life. It's not a game, and he completely rebuilt this room, including the cabin as well, which is really cool. And he acts in it himself. He directed and wrote the film, but he also acts in it, and it's just really cool. He modeled, or not modeled, he built all of this, and he floods it as well. As the ship sinks, he like actually fills it with water. It's amazing. Definitely give it a watch. It's kind of old, so the camera quality and stuff isn't the best because it came out a good few years ago, but it's still a great little film to watch. If you've got, some time on YouTube and you're looking for something, definitely give it a look. See, there's MGY, which is Titanic's kind of call sign, if you would. Airplanes all have their own call signs to communicate with air traffic control. Ships also had this. And you can see this is Titanic's MGY. So whenever Titanic would send out any kind of wireless, whether it be a distress call or just a general letter before the accident, they would obviously put MGY, so each ship would know, oh, that's MGY, so that's Titanic, that's who's sending this message. Because you wouldn't really know who's sending it unless you had this. If you didn't have this, you'd just hear a bunch of people talking. You wouldn't know who's who. Like, you wouldn't know who's talking. You can just see here there is these are just some of the things. These would have been filled out with instructions for the wireless operators to communicate with other ships. They're blank at the moment, but you can just see they would have been filled out. Historic ships, thank you for the sub. That scared me. That was extremely loud. But yeah, beautiful room, really well done. Yeah, I don't think any of these officer cabins are modeled, which is okay, because we're going to go into this first class space, which is very, very nice. I think you know what it is. Where's the mail stored on the ship? The mail was stored actually just kind of near the number one cargo hatch, just kind of slightly forward of that, basically in the very front of the ship on the lower decks is where all the mail was stored. We can go there. We will go there, absolutely. because it is modeled in here. We can definitely go there. Yeah. I still don't know what this room was. Um, I want to say it was used to maybe power something in the ground, like in the grand staircase, but I have no idea what it is. If anyone knows, please say, because I genuinely don't know. So yeah, none of these rooms are here. So look at this. Here we are in the grand staircase. Actually, you can see the heaters are on, and you can see the heat is coming through, and that's amazing. Look at this. That is incredible. The lighting again, the natural light coming through the windows is just amazing. So we're going to go down and have a look. Honor and Glory Crown and Time again, showing the real time, which is really cool. The detail, like the carving out of the wood. Just like, I mean, it's obviously great that they could do it here in the game, but imagine what it would have been like to do this, you know, back in the day before the machines. This was done by hand, and that's incredible. It's magnificent. Here we are on A deck. We can have a look at the. I don't think any of the cabins here are modelled, but we can have a sneak peek. Here's the elevator shafts. The elevators are actually below us on B deck. We will have a look in a moment down there. Thank you, History Inside a Nutshell. We'll see you later. Hope you enjoyed it. We can definitely do this again in the future if you all like it. We can do kind of, if there's any other games or anything you want me to kind of live stream, I'm definitely down to do it because I don't always have time. See you later, Union Trains as well. I don't always have time to make the videos, but I always have time to live stream. So if there's something that you want me to live stream, even if it's just a Q&A, I'm always down to do that because I always have the time to live stream. I just don't have the time to render animations all the time. But with that being said, I do actually have a big backlog of videos coming out. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the forward cabins. This is really nice. I would love to have a cabin here. Like, you're literally looking out on the bow. That is amazing. That is incredible. And it's a pretty nice cabin as well, actually. We've got some toilets here. That was a big problem on these ships back in the day. There was no private toilets. Britannic was going to have private toilets. Not sure if they were actually installed during her hospital service. I would assume they were. But yeah, Britannic would have had toilets. Not, I don't think for every cabin, but for a majority of the cabins would have had private toilets. But yeah, very cool, very cool. Just seeing the kind of the shine off the wooden panel and the sign as well, but the shine is really cool. So where are the cameras? Do you mean video? You mean like you mean like you mean like people taking video footage on the ship back in 1912? There's very little video footage of Titanic at sea, if any. I don't think, honestly. Our greatest collection is Father Francis Brown's picture collection. It's like the Bible of Titanic pictures. We are so lucky that he took all them pictures because if he hadn't, there would be basically no pictures of Titanic because White Star Line didn't photograph her in Southampton like they did with Olympic because they were like, oh, you know, we photographed Olympic a year ago. Titanic looks nearly the same. The papers won't be interested in the photographs in Southampton. Let's wait until we get to New York and then we'll photograph her. But obviously Titanic never got to New York, so they never got to photograph her properly for the papers. So Francis Brown's pictures are gold dust. Like, they're, if we didn't have them, I actually have one of his pictures. One of my favorite pictures, actually. It's the only picture of I think it's the only picture of the bridge wings from off the ship, and it was Francis Brown took it as he was leaving the ship, and it's of Captain Smith looking over the bridge wing. just looking down to make sure that everything's clear. I have a copy of that photo printed out. Now, this is my favorite room on Titanic. Just out of all the rooms, this is actually my favorite. It's the first class reading and writing room. I just love the white paneling and the fucking, oh, excuse my language, sorry, but the burgundy carpet is so nice in here, and it works so well um with the white paneling. And I feel like this would have been just a nice room for, if you wanted to sit down, read a book, or if you had a letter to write, or if you wanted to meet someone. Just, it's a nice kind of space to go into. You got the fireplace lit, and again with the clock, it's amazing. We've been streaming for over an hour now, and we're nowhere near done with the interiors. There is still so many spaces to look into, which is crazy. Here we are again. Whew. We've seen this room several times, but I always enjoy looking back on the spaces. Like, we've been able to go into this room multiple times, and I love the kind of how this is divided here. It's kind of more private. I love how they did that. If there was any footage from on board during the voyage, we probably lost them. Oh, most definitely. Like I said, I don't know. We obviously will never know if someone was recording with their camera on the ship, but if they were, it obviously never made it off. So yes, we unfortunately have lost any footage. You've got to remember though, video cameras were much bigger than photograph cameras back in 1912. A video camera was not as easy. It was not as handy to kind of set up and take videos of as a little hand pocket camera was. Like Francis Brown's camera was a little pocket camera, which was absolutely amazing. The quality is stunning, actually, as well from those pictures. It's actually hard to believe that some of them pictures are well over 110 years old now. The quality is ridiculous on some of them pictures. And here we are at the aft grand staircase, and also we are at my favorite cabin on Titanic, which is just over here. Oh no, I went to the wrong side. Excuse me. I mean, it's the same cabin, but over here. This is the cabin that Thomas Andrews would have occupied, and I don't know why I love this cabin so much, but I think it's the simplicity of it, but just the fact that it's in such a good location as well. Like, you're right on the aft grand staircase, and you can see, so Thomas Andrews would have occupied this cabin, and you can see he's got his blueprints all rolled out from Titanic, which is really cool, because even though he was sent on Titanic because Perry, I think William Perry, who was the owner of Harland and Wolff, was originally going to go, but he decided to. He was unwell at the time, and Thomas Andrews went, and he had a lot of work to do. His job on Titanic during the maiden voyage was to see what were the problems, what were things that weren't working, so that they could be improved on Britannic at a later date. What did passengers like, and what did they not like? For example, the Café Parisian was a massive success, and that wasn't originally on Olympic, but it was installed later because of how popular it was. Here we are in the first class smoke room, which is incredible. I was just watching THG's live stream earlier, and they were saying that these chairs are not a mistake. This is the design of them, that they're supposed to be way lower, and I'd love to know why. I'd love to know, like, whose idea was it to make these chairs so low. But it's very cool. I see we have some people in the chat here. Nice to see you guys from Poland. Cool. And from Germany. Nice. Welcome to the stream. This painting is absolutely gorgeous. I really want. This is Journey to the New World, isn't it? I believe. I'd love to have a print of this. It would be incredible. I have some Titanic artwork that has been like recreated, and I have it framed. I should do actually a video on that. Like, maybe I should do a video on my collection of like artifacts, replicas, and books, and all the stuff that I have, not just related to Titanic, but to ocean liners in general. If that's a video you'd like to see in the future, let me know. But yeah, First class smoking room is amazing. We see it multiple times in Cameron's Titanic movie as well. We see Cal in here a lot, with Lovejoy. Cal is an amazing character. You love him to hate him. I think Cameron did a really good job on his like narrative. I think I just I he's the perfect enemy for a film like Titanic, where there isn't really an enemy, but it's just really well done. Here's the palm courts. Um, I always I always wondered why it was split into two different rooms. Like you've got the kind of pantry and kitchen in here, and then there's another one of these on the other side. And the only way you could get in, the ladies who weren't allowed to go through the smoking room would have to go through the sliding doors aft. So they wouldn't actually be able to, they wouldn't be able to cut through the smoking room like the gentlemen could. You know, the ladies would usually be in there where the gentlemen would kind of come in here and discuss business. Yeah, I think Demo 401 should be available to the public now actually, so you can download it for yourself and give it a go. It's a pretty big size. It's like 40 gig. So but it's worth it. Definitely, it's worth it. So here's the other side of the palm court. Very nice room. We see this again in the film. There's a lot of spaces, and actually, I do have a video idea for an upcoming video. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but it's going to utilize this demo. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, just again coming back to the smoking room, it's incredible seeing all this together. Plans of the ship epic. Yeah, that's back from. The chat is very delayed for some reason. I need to fix that and get a more recent chat. So if I'm missing any of your stuff, sorry. Like, because it's like nearly 5 minutes behind, which is really bad. But yeah, the blueprints in Thomas Andrews' cabin. Yeah, you're right. Galu. I hope I'm saying that right. Um, yeah, the blueprints are very cool. Godzilla boy Thomas Andrews in there also. I presume you're referring to the cabin that I was just in. Yes, that's right. So let's see, where else should we visit while we're on this stream? Like I said, I will probably miss rooms just due to the fact that there's so many. Um, Thomas Andrews didn't need to die. Bruce Ismay is a coward. Yeah, I mean, rich coward, rich coward. Okay. Um, yeah, like it's he what he did probably was like he did help people. It's not like he jumped onto a lifeboat straight away. He didn't hop on the first lifeboat. He was seen helping multiple passengers and ladies get off the ship. Um, yes, I mean it was at the time it was seen awful what he had done, especially with the loss of so many other men to have the owner kind of survive. They thought, oh, he would have gone down with his ship. Like, yeah, the captain would go down with his ship, but this was actually Bruce Ismay's ship. Like, it's his ship. So the fact that he didn't go like down with it, I don't know. It's a bit weird, but like, there is a book that the ancestors of Bruce Ismay have made, where they kind of defend him because you see, he just was trying to save himself, like as anyone was trying to do, really. But it haunted him for the rest of his life, and any time the word Titanic was just mentioned to him, he'd go as pale as like he'd just go so white in the face. He gets sick nearly. You couldn't mention Titanic to him. He wouldn't let you. Like it was something you couldn't do. You restricted, like if you were in his presence and you brought up the word Titanic, that was a big no no. I just realized we missed the elevators. I'll go back up and have a look at them. I think one of them's open that we can go and have a look at. Yeah, here they are. Very cool. Again, and like I said earlier, I love how they're enclosed compared to like Lusitania and Mauritania's designs. Obviously, Titanic was designed later on, much later than like Titanic was being designed when Lusitania was sailing her first few voyages. So like Titanic's obviously going to be a bit more advanced than Lusitania and Mauritania. Here we go. So if you're here's a nice little notice here. If you're looking to keep up to date with the team's development of Project 401, which is the Steam version of this game, this Project 401 is going to have more in it than Demo 401. So they're two separate. They're two separate games basically. This is a demo. This is Demo 4 or Demo 401, but Project 401 is going to be an actual experience like Britannic, Patroness of the Mediterranean. Ah, the Parlor Suite. This is B51, 53, 55, and on the other side we would have had B52, 54, 56. I don't think they made them in this one. Yeah, they didn't make it in this one. They decided to do. They're basically identical. They decided to do the opposite side, which is nice. Bruce Ismay would have occupied 52, 54, 56. In Cameron's movie, Rose and Cal and her mother, all of them, they all occupy that cabin. But this is 51, 53, 55. Which these cabins were just incredible. Like these were the highest paying customers would have been given these cabins. Excuse me. And yeah, here's the private promenade. You remember? Oh, here, like this is literally they have it set up. So this is where Cal and Rose have their fight about the fiance. You're my fiance, and he flips the table, and then there's the rose that Rose picks up and gives to the stewardess. That's a very nice little touch there. There was a gangway door. You could board through here. I'm not sure if anyone did board through private promenade, like the cabin owners. I don't think they boarded through the private promenade, but that option was there if you wanted to. Hi Gabriel, you're back. Good to see you. Stained glass. It's incredible. I'm not sure if that is the work of Emma Linsky, which is Tom Linsky's partner. I know that when Tom was still working on the project, Emma also did some kind of texturing work. So I'm not sure if that's her stuff, but it's very pretty, very well done. As is all the texturing. Like, look at the wood paneling; it's incredible, and even like the sheets, the carpets, everything. It's done really well. The wood texture is a piece of art. It really is. Yeah. Ah, yes, this room, this cabin. I just remembered it from when I was recording the previous video. This cabin gives me Britannic vibes, as if Britannic had ever become a passenger liner. Because in Patroness of the Mediterranean, we see a lot of Britannic's interiors having this kind of green, emerald green color, and I love it. It looks so well. It looks so well. That's an Irish little thing. It just matches so well with the wooden paneling. It's really cool and really well done. And then we go in here and we get the blue, which matches even more with the wooden paneling. And then we go in again and we get the red, which is even, or the burgundy, which is even nicer as well. It just gets nicer and nicer as each room you go into. I wait for console version. That's a good question. I don't know if I don't think this is going to be on console, unfortunately, on Xbox. Sorry to disappoint. I don't think they plan on releasing. Definitely not Demo 401, anyways. They might release Project 401, but I don't think they'll any console version of Demo 401. Gabriel's just said, will the final game have any kind of campaign, or will it just be exploring the ship? So this is where Honor and Glory and Project 401 differ. So Honor and Glory, which is the game that we've always known about, which is currently under development, that is going to have a campaign. We don't currently know what it is. Originally, Tom had written the story for it. I'm not sure if they're still going with that story or not. It was a pretty interesting story. It's a shame to see it go to waste. It would be cool to see it being used. But in Honor and Glory, there will be a campaign. Yes. Um, in the a brain fart there. In Project 401, it is a museum experience, just like what we're doing right now. It's just kind of supposed to be explore the ship kind of at your own pace. Whereas in Titanic, Honor and Glory will be able to experience the sinking and all that comes with it. So yeah, just cabins upon cabins upon cabins, as Robin would say. For those of you who don't know as well, the voice actor for Robin is James, who is the creative director of the game, who's a really friendly guy. He's always on the live streams for THG, and he's just I never knew until like the first time after they switched creative directors, he mentioned that he was Robin. I had never known until then. And I was like, wow, you're Robin. That's crazy, because he's got an American accent, but he did the British accent for Demo 3. We made our way back to the Afghan staircase, so let's go down to there. Oh yes, it's coming back to me now. There's so much space that we haven't gone to yet. Yeah, I'd love to see a campaign too, because it gives even more to the game. Just another reason for people who maybe aren't interested in the history of Titanic and just want to, they want a story. There you go. There's a game. Like, there's the barber shop. Nice little cabin here. Another just simple cabin, but still just looks really nice. And look, it's got cooling as well in it, which is incredible. And yeah, you see these corridors are like mazes. So here's the barber shop. Very cool. They apparently, well, we know it's confirmed on Olympic in the late 20s, but I would assume it was the same on Titanic. You could buy souvenirs in here, and one of the souvenirs you could buy is a tin replica, small tin ship replica of Olympic. And actually, I have a replica of it. I don't have an original, unfortunately, because those things are like gold dust. But I do have a replica of it. It's a very cool little. It's just a small little miniature Olympic made out of tin, which is really nice. So let's run back to the forward grand staircase, and let's go down a bit further. There, our cabin. Oh yeah, another one of these cabins with the burgundy, and look at that marbling. Very fancy marbling. Keegan Bradley, hello. How are you doing? Just admiring the beautiful marble here in one of these cabins, and the stained glass windows again. Oh my goodness. There's not much on this one, but still very nice. I just remembered. Yeah, I was just going to say, the purser's office. I went into it, but I was talking about something else. I never kind of mentioned it. Here's the purser's office. So this is where passengers, if they wanted to write a letter to someone or a telegraph, they could do it here. It would be sent here, and everything would be sorted and then put down into the mail room. You could also, if you had stuff in the cargo holes, this is where you kind of checked in on it. This is it's basically like a reception, like a hotel's reception, but for ships. This is what the purser's office was. And here we go. So here's a little promotional piece for Titanic Project 401, which lets you it's basically saying Project 401 will be available on Steam. The date is soon to be announced. And as you can see, 50% of Titanic, over 150 unique spaces, unrivaled detail, and new gameplay features. So that's all the stuff that's going to be coming in Project 401, which is coming out on Steam very soon. And there's some of the stuff that I've already I mentioned this at the very start of the stream, but virtual reality headset support, nighttime and daytime, deck plans, full controller support, and environmental sound design, like I was mentioning earlier. And yeah, there's other stuff to be announced. I was told I could mention stuff about these SS particulars and White Star testimony, but I honestly don't know much about them myself yet, so I don't really have any information for you on them at the moment. But yeah, find owner of cufflink found in reception. So yeah, it can act like a lost and found. It was basically the reception. If you had any queries or anything, this is where you came and you asked. Like, you know, this, if you had any questions, it was all done here. You've also got there's a few safes here as well. You know, they've got money. Someone's keeping their million safe. Yeah, very nice. So let's head down even more then to the reception room. So if any of you remember, shortly after the transfer of creative director, when the team was reformed for Titanic Honor and Glory, there wasn't really anything new. Like, Demo 3 was the last thing that had been released. And it was 2020, so it had been 4 years since Demo 3 had been released, and there was still nothing. So they decided to release a little experience where you could experience this reception room flooding in real time. So you were just limited to this room, and the room would slowly and slowly flood, and the chairs would all, you know, bob around. The lights would flicker and cut out. It ran shit. Like, it ran really bad. It was running on, like, I think it could have been Unreal Engine 3, maybe not even Unreal Engine 4. Performance was a nightmare, and it was only this room. There was nothing else. It was just this room, and it just ran really slowly. I did a video on it 2 years ago. You can check it out on the channel. I also added in Cal shouting, "I hope you enjoy your time together," because this is where he does it. This is where he shouts that as Jack and Rose run off through the restaurant to get away from him. But yeah, the performance was really bad in that little free demo that they released in 2020. But they said that, as when they were releasing it, they said this is a really old version of the game. We're just letting you have it as a freebie while you wait for demo 401. And it was nice that they gave that for free. They didn't have to. You know, we didn't ask for it, but it was a nice thing to have just to experience, you know. I think all ship lovers will start with Titanic due to how famous it was. Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of gets into ships that way. It's like they find out about Titanic, they get fascinated with it, and then they realize, oh my god, wait, there's more than just Titanic. There's other ships too. You know, that's usually how people find out. So I think, if I'm correct, we're heading to the squash court. Yes, this is a cool place that was added in Demo 401. This is the squash court where you could play squash with the boys. You'd have great fun. It's cool to see kind of the facilities on Titanic and the stuff that the recreational stuff that you could do on board while crossing the Atlantic. Is very cool to be able to see all this stuff. I just remembered this space because this is a space that I would always leave out on the live streams of Demo 401 previously. But like, just like you were saying, Bradley, about yeah, everyone kind of is famous with Titanic, but for me, obviously, that's how I remember how I got into Titanic. I was a child, and someone was flicking through the channels on the TV, and I think I might have been like 5 or 6 at the time, and the Titanic film came on. It was on one of the TVs on one of the channels, and I just said, "What's that?" And then from there, you know, the rest is just, it all just piled on from then. Gabriel, you started on Costa Concordia because your aunt worked on the ship. Wow, that's fascinating. She wasn't on board when it sank. Okay. That's very interesting. I also one of my friend's aunts was a passenger on the Costa Concordia when it did sink, which was very frightening. She made it off alive. She was totally okay. But I remember I would have been in school at the time, and I remember him coming in and telling me, he's like, "Oh, my auntie's on this ship that's after sinking." I was like, "Wow, that's crazy!" Like, because yeah, the Costa Concordia is a story again about cowards and just an accident that could have been prevented if more care was taken. If any of you haven't seen the Costa Concordia video I made last year, Voyage from Hell, the story of the Costa Concordia, I really recommend you check it out. I put a lot of time into it. It's a nice 10-minute animation of the sinking of the Costa Concordia, and it also has real audio from the real sinking in it as well. So if you haven't seen it before, please check it out because a lot of work went into that video, and a lot of people haven't seen it. And when people ask me what's my favorite video, I always tell them it's that one because I just love how much work I put into it. There's a lot of cool camera angles and lighting and stuff in it as well because I'm using the new rendering engine. Have a look at the restaurant here. Another beautiful space and everything's set. Let's have a look at the menu actually because we were looking at the third class menu earlier. So we can see again it's dated for the 14th of April. Very cool. I have a great book actually in my collection that was given to me by a friend many years ago. It's called The Last Dinner on the Titanic. And it just goes through all the menus and all the food that was on board the ship at the time, and all the kind of different meal options and in all different classes. And it's just a really good book, a very old book. I'm not sure if it probably is very hard to get. It was given to me as a gift, but it's just a very cool book. And if you can find it, pick it up because it's a very good. It's got lots. It's got pictures of the menus and stuff in it as well. So definitely give it a read if you can find it. Some ships like the Lusitania had major impact, being one of the first ships to experience the dangers of U-boats. And I mean, there was a lot of ships that sank before the Lusitania due to U-boats. A lot of merchant ships, a lot of military ships. The U-boats were reckless. They didn't care what it was; they would sink it. And they didn't realize that sinking the Lusitania was a very big mistake. That would nearly cost them the war basically because it encouraged America to join at a later date, to join the Second World War. Very nice. I just realized there's a room that we need to go into. I will be going there in a minute. There's a few spaces we need to go to actually, but we'll just have a look at these lower decks again. And actually, here's an opportunity to do the famous shot. I love that. I think it's just the symmetry, everything lining up perfectly. It's amazing. Such a shame that something like this isn't able to be experienced in person anymore. I've experienced Demo 3. I used to play Demo 3 in virtual reality and it's amazing. But I can imagine that the virtual reality support that's coming to this at a later date is going to be even better because it's running on a way more optimized engine. So here we are on F deck. What's the little notice here? So there's the opening times. That'll bring us into the Turkish baths. We were already in there, but no, Brady, you're fine. It's just there's obviously, the war had been already going on for over a year at the time of when Lusitania sank. Very nice blue carpet in here. Oh, look at that wood interiors. Look at the detail of the model. Like it's amazing, like how precise they can get with the wooden fixtures. My aunt works as a roommate on Concordia, and she actually met her husband there. Ah, yeah, a lot of people meet their partners at sea. It's just the way it happens. I'm actually very fortunate. I'm going to be working hopefully on the next on the next year's voyages for Disney. I'll be working as a technician on Disney Cruise Lines for 6 months, which is I can't wait. I'm very excited for that. So I'll be going on the I think it's the Disney Wonder. But obviously don't know that yet, but very excited to be able to go on not just on a cruise, but to work on one as an officer, like or not as an officer, but as a technician, and also to be as the ability to just kind of go for Disney as well, which is something that I've been a fan of for a very long time. I do love Disney, and to be able to experience their cruise lines, I look forward to it very much. I think this is just some more corridors. I think I've been down here already. Actually, yeah, I have been down here. So let's go to the Café Parisian then, because that is a place that I love on the ship. So I have to figure out how do I get there again. Oh, the promenade is open on this. They modeled the private promenade for B-52, 54, 56. They just didn't do the cabin, so you can see they've got it blinded off there. But that's cool. Okay, they did the private promenade. Very nice. Actually, I'll go up on the deck. Here we go. Actually, I think let's go outside. I think we can go outside here. Yes, we can. Very good, very nice. We're out here on the first class promenade, which is looking. We could never. I don't think we could ever come out here before. I think it was always blocked by these bloody deck chairs all the time. But we can finally experience it now. Look at that. Very pretty. I love these windows as well. Something about these windows I love. You can see actually there's that cabin we were in earlier. Let's run down the promenade. I love also. It was such a good idea to close the promenade. It looks so much better on Titanic having the promenade. Like just even this bit of it closed. I think it just looks. It adds to that symmetry that just makes Titanic look so perfect. Like if you see a side profile of Titanic, there's very little I would change. Like design wise, it just looks perfect. And here's the open bit here, and the sea again. Sea is looking fantastic. You can see inside. I don't think in previous versions we could see inside the rooms. I think just all the windows had like this weird glass material on them. You've never set foot on an actual boat. Oh, that's interesting. You should definitely, even if you can't get on a ship, if you know someone with a boat that you can go, even if you can go fishing on a boat, or if you can just go on a boat in the lake, do it. It's lovely. There's nothing more than relaxing than just being on a boat and just relaxing. If it's a nice weather, you got a bit of music on, you're fishing, or you're just out with some friends on a boat. It's really nice. There's a lake beside where I live, and every summer, because the summers in Ireland are surprisingly very good now. We get very good summers here in Ireland, which we usually don't because it's always raining in Ireland. But we've been getting some really good summers, and I always like to go out on this lake with a speedboat with my friends, and we just hang out, and it's just a very nice kind of relaxing thing to do. The weather's really nice, and the lake is really popular. You'll see everyone's out there at the same time. It's really nice. You meet everyone. It's very nice. Nice thing to do during the holidays. The holidays. That's Christmas. What am I saying? No, the summer break. Ah, a place we need to go to the gym. We haven't gone to the gym. We can go to the gym. Yes. While we're here, can we? No, we can't get. Oh, we can. Oh, we can get up here. I didn't go up here previously. Just a nice little view. Compass tower. Very nice. Get a great view. Get a great view from here. Nice. So yeah, let's bounce into the gym. See what's the story. Just give me 1 second. Windows is deciding to be a bit bold. Okay. Nice shot of the purser's office there as well. So we're back here in the grand staircase. I can't believe I forgot the gym. The gym is really cool, I think. There's a deleted scene actually in Cameron's movie which shows some of the passengers in the gym while just shortly after the iceberg's been hit, and they're all in their life jackets and they're exercising to keep warm. Which I'd say they definitely did during the sinking. I'd say some of them did come in here and started using some of the machinery to keep warm because it was really cold outside. There's the opening time for the gym, and as you can see, there was segregated times for the ladies and the gentlemen. As you can see, that the gentlemen got way more time than the ladies did, and also children were available, were able to go into the gym as well. So on Britannic, there would have been a gym, but there was also going to be a children's playroom, which the children's playroom would have actually been here on Titanic, or on Britannic, excuse me, which is a really nice little addition. That's one of the many improvements that Britannic was going to have over Titanic. Yeah, Britannic was going to have a barbershop for second class. It was also going to have a hairdressers as well. Olympic got a hairdressers as well later on in her service. Create a game. Here's an idea. Create a game where you can explore the RMMV Oceanic as what she would have been if she was made. That's an interesting idea. The problem is I don't know if there is any like interior plans of Oceanic 3 because of what happened. Like, she was cancelled, so I don't know if they ever got to the point of designing interiors. But that is, if you can find out for me if that's possible, I'd like to give that a go. I wonder what RMMV Oceanic would have compared to Titanic. Oh, the Oceanic 3 would have dwarfed Titanic in numerous ways. Speed, size, tonnage, everything. Comparing Titanic to what Oceanic 3 would have been would be the same as comparing Titanic to the Queen Mary. Queen Mary was better in multiple different ways just because she's newer. You know, as years went on, technology gets better. You know, life on ships improves. That's just how it was. So it would be very unfair to compare Oceanic 3 to Titanic because they're nearly 2 decades apart from each other. Yeah, it would be much larger than Titanic Oceanic 3. Much larger. So I want to get downstairs. I need to go. I want to get downstairs. I think I need to go up to go down. Oh, great. I need to get up to them second class stairway. I've seen some black and white photos of Britannic sinking. Always thought they were fake, but some say are real. Are they authentic? I don't know the photos you're talking about. Um, if you're in my Discord server, or if you have me on Discord, please send them to me because I know that there's some Photoshop pictures that are made to look like Britannic is sinking, but I don't think there are any authentic ones. But if you've got one or two that you believe are authentic, please send them to me on Discord and I'll have a look. I'll know straight away if they are the fake ones or not. But that sounds really interesting. Would RMS Olympic be a hotel in San Diego like Queen Mary in Long Beach? Everyone always says that, like, oh, um, I wish that Olympic was preserved as a hotel or as a museum ship. Just get straight to the facts. It's not feasible. Um, Olympic was being retired at a really bad time. It was right at the time of the crash of 20, like you had the crash, you had the employment crisis in England. People needed work. I actually wrote a paper for back when I was in school. I had to write a paper on Jarrow, which is a community in the United Kingdom. Jarrow is where um, the United excuse me, Jarrow is where Olympic was scrapped. And it was a hard hit town with unemployment and just hunger. There was hunger, there was unemployment, there was poverty, everything. And the Olympic kind of saved Jarrow because it brought work for people, which who could then earn money to feed their families. Like it it helped with it helped the economy. It was good for the economy, the scrapping of the Olympic. Now, of course, we all want the Olympic to have been preserved. It would have been amazing. I'm sure if the Olympic had been preserved, it would have been used in all the Titanic films because it would have been the closest, replica. But unfortunately, that's just not the way. It wasn't possible. How do hotel ships work? Um, they're just turned into hotels, really. They're permanently docked, and they're obviously modernized and outfitted, with all the standards that are required of a hotel. So private bathrooms, air conditioning, heating, all that. So for the Queen Mary, it wasn't. It was hard to do, but it wasn't as hard. It would have been much harder to do that for a ship like Olympic, which is another reason why it just simply wouldn't have been possible to turn Olympic into a hotel. How much will the game cost? If you're on about this game, Demo 401, Demo 401 is free. Um, Demo 401 is completely free at the moment. You can actually download it now. It is available. Project 401, which is coming on Steam, which will be a slightly more updated version than this. Probably, I can't imagine it being any more than $30, €30. That's how much the Britannic game was. So I can't imagine them pricing it for any more than that. Do you have a major? I want a major in product engineering. Okay, so um, over here in Ireland, we kind of do things a bit differently. So you go to school and you do a state exam called the Leaving Certificate, and once you graduate from that, you go on to college to do your college degree. So I did my state exams a couple of years ago, so I'm currently in college, and I'm going to graduate from college next year. But I don't. It's not really a major. It'll be more of a degree that I will have when I graduate. So I'll have a degree in maritime technicality and also technical theatre in stage management. Um, because I'm juggling two things at the moment. I'm doing a film and theatre degree, but I'm also doing then this technical technician degree. So not only when I'm at sea with Disney would I be able to work as a technician, but I'd also be able to actually work in their theatre sections. And then when I'm obviously not at sea, I could work. I can work in theaters or on films and all that. I've worked on various films and theater shows over the last kind of 5 years, and it's something I really enjoy doing. SS Dauntless. I've made an alternative history documentary of the RMV Oceanic on my channel. We're working on a documentary of her sister ship named the RMS Colossic. Sorry, what am I saying? I'm getting my words from Colossic. Yeah. Very little information is out there. I honestly didn't even know Oceanic was going to have a sister ship. I didn't know there was plans to do a second one of them. Massive. I refer to them as superliners. I never knew there was actually a plan to even make a second one. That's really interesting. If you're not in my Discord server, I really recommend you join it. I'd love to hear more about that. Feel free to drop me a message on Discord. There should be a link in the description of the video. If there's not, let me get a Discord link for anyone there. I should set up a. I should really set up a little bot to post this for me. But that sounds really interesting for anyone. I'm always interested in all your guys' ideas and concepts. So if you ever want to just drop me a line, I'm usually always very open to your messages as long as they're not spam or anything. I'm always open to just talk, and I'm trying to get the Discord server more popular at the moment, and I'm actually looking for new people to come on board and help me manage the server. So let me just drop a link to the Discord server here. And if you want to join the Discord server, also for them, whoever, I forget who was the person, was it Gabriel, who said he had Britannic pictures? I'd love to see those Britannic pictures, and I also would like to see this Oceanic documentary. So yes, please join the Discord server, and also you can private message them to me as well, and I'll definitely take a look and see. So I'm kind of just going around random rooms here. I'm kind of focusing on the chat more than the just exploring, because we kind of covered a lot of spaces. I don't really want to do everything. I do want to leave some spaces for you guys to look at your own, because you can now download this for free at the moment. So definitely check it out yourselves when you get the time. It has a happy ending. Yeah, cool. Definitely send it to me and I'll check it out, because I've made some Oceanic videos on the Oceanic 3 before. I've done some fictional videos which don't really have happy endings. I also like to feature her in my Christmas specials. If you've been with the channel for a while, you will have seen my Christmas specials, and she always features in them. It's kind of like a little cameo thing that I do. So here's the second class promenade. Very good, very nice. I'm liking it. Very good. So there's a few more spaces that I'm going to that I want to go to, and I'm just going to actually bounce out. I'm going to let the game kind of refresh a bit because it's been running for quite a while. So I'm going to go back to the main menu. I'll send it to you the documentary when you're done. Cool, yeah, definitely. I'll check it out. So what I want to check out is... Oh, well, we have a look at the post office, actually. We had mentioned that earlier. We'll have a quick look at the post office. And I probably will wrap this stream up in a few, in maybe 10 minutes or so. Just because I have been streaming now for quite a bit. So here's the mailroom. We're at the very front of the ship, basically. You can see the hull is starting to curve in again, just like it was at the stern. So this is the front. You can see here's all the lovely mail. Very nicely detailed. You can actually see the stamps and everything on it. Really cool. And there was a lot of room for mail. Here's a cargo hold. But there was a lot of room for mail. Oh, actually, I remember it was in Demo 401 version 1. There was a section in one of these cargo holes that had like really cool lighting in it. I'd say the lighting has changed, but Isn't this where Titanic hit the iceberg? Yeah, I don't think any of the hull was breached at this height. This is relatively high up. It's not too low down. Um, so I don't think any of these rooms, like these rooms, flooded pretty quickly. But I don't think any of this was torn open. I don't think. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. No, this isn't where the movie shows the flooding first. That's the lower cargo holds. That would have been down. Oh, I don't know if it's. I don't think it's available in this version of the game, but the cargo hold door on the bow, where the famous car, was lowered in the film. That's where the oops, it is. Oh, that is a very zigzaggy corridor. That is where it was torn open, where in that cargo hold, which is much lower down than this. But no, I can't find that interesting lighting thing. It was cool. I think it was over here. There was just a little lamp that was like attached to one of these boxes. And it was just really, the lighting was just really cool on it. It might have been in Britannic, actually. It might have even been in Demo 4.1. It might have been in the Britannic game. I'll have to look into it. It looks like it a lot low. Yeah, I mean, all these kind of cargo spaces do look the same. Well, this is the mail room, but all the cargo spaces do look the same. Just kind of wooden floor, dark light. Here it is. This is the lighting I was on about. I just love this. I think this looks really cool. Can I get around? Yeah. I know you probably think this is stupid, but I just think this is really nice. I remember finding this when I first loaded up Demo 4.1 on the very first version. So scary when Titanic starts flooding, then you're stuck down here. Yeah. There's a not really controversial. There was a game that came out on Steam in 2015 called Fall of the Titanic, and it was made by one person. And people, uh, you all know the YouTuber Spammers. He hated the game. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was pretty bad, the game, but it wasn't like it was €2. It was dirt cheap to buy. It was $2, and it was made by one person. And basically, what it was is just the ship was sinking, and you started at the very bottom of the ship, and you had to work your way out of the ship before it flooded, and you'd work your way up from the bottom, kind of, and it was all right. Like, it was made in 2015. The ship, it didn't look accurate. The rooms weren't detailed or anything, but it was cool. It was dark, and it was scary. Like, the water would come in very quick, and you'd be running around trying to find a way out. Yeah, you can't buy that game anymore because the developer actually took it down after Spammels made that video because he was pretty upset. So he said he was going to make something better. He never did, but that's just the way it is. Thankfully I have the game on Steam. I bought it before it was removed. Thankfully, haven't played it since it came out. Like, it's not going to be updated or anything, but it is there. Here we are at the aft grand staircase yet again, and we have returned because I want to have a look. Oh wait, no, we are not aft. I wanted to check the cafe. Can you drive the ship in this game? No, there hasn't been a game where you can really drive the Titanic or sail the Titanic in a very long time. If you're looking to sail the Titanic, I would recommend Virtual Sailor is the best game to allow you to drive the Titanic. Or Vehicle Simulator. There's a new version of Virtual Sailor out now on Steam, which I would recommend to anyone who has never played Virtual Sailor before, because you can get the Titanic for it for absolutely free. and it's made by Kyle Hudak, who is the same person who is modeling this Titanic. So he modeled that Titanic already for Virtual Sailor, and he's modeling this one too. Should be a game where you can try and survive and make it out. Well, that is what Fall of the Titanic is, Joe. That is what Fall of the Titanic was. Imagine how hard the builders had to do to build this ship only for it to sink on its maiden voyage. Yeah, I mean, they were heartbroken. There's not much that could be done, though. We've already been at the first class promenade. Let's go down here. I haven't explored here. I didn't go here. Ah, what do we have here? Well, if it isn't, we can actually go to the crow's nest. Oh, I didn't know we could go to the crow's nest. Well, would you look at this? Wow, you've never been able to get here before. That is incredible. I'd love to get a screenshot of like just this, but without the crow's nest in the way. It'd look really cool. That's great. I didn't know we could get up here. That's incredible. Imagine so. Frederick Fleet standing right here. That's his view. Damn. What's your opinion on Palmer's Titanic 2? Ah, okay. So now that you've heard my voice and you're hearing me talk, let's talk about that. Titanic 2. It's not happening. And please, I really want you to. No, you can't ring the bell. I tried. I really want people to take note of this because it's really important. This channel has nothing to do with the Titanic 2, and that rhymes. That should be our motto. We have nothing to do with Titanic 2. I do not support it. If that's what you were asking, Dauntless, I do not support the idea of a Titanic 2, especially one that goes around sailing. It just doesn't. It doesn't sit with me. I don't like it. The word plans for that resort to have a permanently docked Titanic replica, and that sounded interesting. But I've looked into that recently, and like they've decided to take a different course with it, so it's not even going to look like Titanic on the inside. It's going to be completely different on the inside, so it's not really a replica, is it? You know. So yeah, I'm against Palmer's Titanic 2. I'm against any Titanic 2. Just leave it be. Let it rest, you know. There's a very good reason why one hasn't been made yet. You know, just don't. Like, no one. Of course, we would want to be able to walk these spaces again, but it's. I just see it as disrespectful and unnecessary. You know, we have this. I think we can make do with this. Especially with the fact that this is also in virtual reality, which is pretty cool. So let's head back up. Can we go through these doors? Probably not. This brings us out onto the forecastle, but we can't go out through there because that isn't available. Is this the Olympic? No, this is still the Titanic. It's a shame that now the Honor and Glory team, they've made the Britannic game and they've made a Titanic game. The poor Olympic has not gotten any game yet. Maybe they should make an Olympic game during her wartime service. I think would be very interesting as a troop ship. Maybe you could explore the ship during that. I think that would be very interesting. If anybody from the Honor and Glory team is here listening, I doubt there's anyone here, but if there is, there's an idea for whenever you have a free time. Winter, hello, good to see you. It's been a while. Wonder is it possible to make the RMMV Oceanic now? Classic on the outside, modern on the inside. Obviously not as a White Star liner because we don't have that anymore. But yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, it's just the way people have different tastes now than they did, 100 years ago. So if you made a ship that looked like the Oceanic now, people would just think, oh, it's old, it looks out of date. Even if it looks modern on the inside, they'd just be like, oh, I don't want to sail on that, it looks old, you know? They want to sail on these big Oasis class cruise ships from Royal Caribbean, which are freaking ridiculous. The size of some of these ships. So here's these are the cargo holds that I was referring to. Well, this is an aft. This is the aft cargo hold, but there's one of these on the bow, and it goes all the way down, and going through them wooden doors down there. That's where the iceberg opened up, and that's where the car is in, but at the bow, not here at the bow. We just can't get there in this game, which is why I can't show you. I think I'm just going to have a look at some of the first class spaces again, and then we might park it there for now. Remember all Britannic and Titanic, but not Poor Living. Yeah, and if you've checked out my videos, you know that a lot of my I've done a lot of Olympic videos, like both fictional and real life videos on Olympic. And I just liked the Olympic. It's a good ship. It had a great career, you know. What's the weirdest conspiracy theory you've ever heard about an ocean liner? Weirdest or one that I just don't believe? Well, obviously, one that I just don't believe is the switch theory. Like, screw that. It's just not possible. And anyone who thinks it, like, just don't have their head screwed on, really. Sorry, that's just the way I see it. Bizarre question. Would Disney Cruise Line buy the United States and sail here again? No, and I'll tell you why. So, if you didn't know, Disney Cruise Line actually bought Queen Mary after she retired and before she became a hotel. This is a nice cabin. I don't think I was in this one. So yeah, Disney Cruise Lines actually bought Queen Mary. I'm not sure if they still own her now, but they did. They definitely previously did, and they wanted to turn it in. They didn't want to turn it into a sailing ship. They wanted it to be a resort. That it was like it was going to be a Disney hotel, you know. So you could stay in the Disney parks, and then you could actually stay in the Queen Mary, and it was like a Disney. It would have been Disney themed and all that. It just didn't work out. They found out there was way too much work to be done, so they said, "Screw that! No, absolutely not. We're not doing that." So that's why I think Disney would not be buying old ships to try and use them for new purposes again. What's my least favorite ship? Um, that's a good question. I mean, I've never been asked what's my least favorite ship. Uh, Probably like some ugly cargo ship. Like, I don't really like. It depends on when I look at ships. It's their design and their popularity for me that makes me rank them. That's what I should do. Should I do a ranking some ships, like a tier list? Is that something you'd like to see, like a top 10 favorite ships on a tier list, and I can rate them? Maybe that's something I should do. If someone wants to make a tier list for me on that website, I'll do a little video rating them for you. How does that sound? And here is this beautiful cafe, the Café Parisian. I love this room so much. You can see why it was so popular. Like, getting views like that while having a cup of tea is incredible. Beautiful. The okay, thanks for the sub. Welcome. And here's the other first class restaurant. Ooh, very nice space. This color, it's everywhere, and I love it. It's amazing. Yeah, you wanna cruise, not a cruise ship. You want a tier list. If someone makes a tier list, I will. If someone makes a tier list, send it to me on Discord, and I'll make a video of it. Absolutely, I'd love that. I'd actually think it'd be really fun. So yeah, definitely. Story wise, what's your favorite ship? Mine's Queen Mary. So yeah, okay. This is a question that I get asked all the time, both in comments in Discord and just in person. I don't have a favorite ship, and I know it sounds stupid, but I don't have a favorite because I just like too many to have one favorite. But if I was to pick a favorite, it would have to be um, RMS Oceanic in 1899's RMS Oceanic, the two funnel version. She's really nice, just nice profile. I like the massive funnels on her. Are you from Ireland? Yes. If the accent couldn't give it away, I am from Ireland. Yes, I am. I'm an Irish boy. I'm from the land of the Titanic. So here is I love the contrast between. This is actually a lot. You see this on Britannic during the hospital thing because they didn't get it finished, but it looks good here on Titanic, where you've got the wood paneling, and then it changes to the white. It just matches really well. It's really good. Oh, look how quickly I can just get a cool shot like that. It's because this place is so beautiful. Anywhere you look, you can get a beautiful shot. Anywhere. Amazing. I'm related to Titanic. Yeah, I'm a distant connection. Yeah. What ship would you sail on? Do you mean like a ship that doesn't exist anymore, like that's retired, or do you mean a ship that exists today? If I could go on any ship that is still like that hasn't sank and is still around, that's like any ocean. I'd love to have been able to go on the Queen Elizabeth II. Q now it's QE2. It's a very nice ship. It just looks really. I love the profile of that ship as well. Or even the United States when that was still in service would have been a really nice ship to go on. See, there's a lot of questions coming in the chat here. I think an Olympic game could be called Olympic Real, Reliability of the Atlantic. I like that name. That could be that's a very good name. I could use that as a title for an upcoming video. Nice idea. Well done. Titanic is in your blood. That's why you make Titanic vids. Yeah. It's been in my blood since I was 5, so I feel like I have a duty. Thinking about making a documentary on Titanic too. The ending will be Titanic sank by Russian submarines during the Ukraine invasion. Interesting. That'd be it if you're going to. Hey Herman, good to see you. Yeah, I'm still here. We I think we've covered a majority of the spaces. To be honest with you, um, yeah, I think if you were to do a documentary on that Dauntless, you would have to take into consideration that if the Russians do that, uh, it would be the Americans and the British that would be very angry uh, at them for that because Titanic would be, British and American ran. So yeah, then that could lead to a very big war that we don't want. So we'll just leave it there with that. Yeah, J ships. Yeah, I'm very tired and my throat is getting really dry. So apologies if I cannot pronounce words properly. I'm also talking really fast. I realize I need to slow down a bit. What's the difference between the Olympic and the Titanic? There's a lot of differences. A lot of people think that the only difference on Olympic and Titanic is the closed promenade. They think that's one of the only things. They are very wrong. There are so many differences. One of them, just as perfect timing, the bridge wings. On Titanic, as you can see, the bridge wing. I wish I could show you with my finger. Like I'm trying to point. You can see the bridge wing is sticking out, like the lifeboat is. It's sticking out a little bit extra. This allows officers and the captain to look down and see more overhang of the ship. Whereas on Olympic, these bridge wings didn't stick out; they were flush with this wooden armrest or this railing. Like they were flush; they didn't stick out like that. That was perfect timing for that question. It's like you knew that we were going to come here. Well done. Yeah, and there's tons of other different differences with Olympic and Titanic as well. Titanic was heavier. She was slightly bigger. Had like little improvements were made. Like you can, I think, if you use the book Titanic, the ship Magnificent, which is volumes 1 and 2, I think there's a chapter in those books that goes into detail um, about the differences and the improvements that were made to Titanic after Olympic was built. Britannic 2, a hypothetical ship made by Palmer that would be a hospital ship for Ukraine. Hmm, interesting. Uh, Hospital ships, I mean, they still exist. If you remember during COVID, Jesus, the hospital ships were being really well used. Like it's hospital ships don't look anything like the hospital ships though of World War I. Lusitania, the story of a speed breaking sinking. You're coming up with some serious titles here, J Ships. You should be writing all these down. You could be writing books or making documentaries with these titles. Well done. Ah, totally understand, Herman, that you want to experience this on your own stream. Couldn't agree more. Of course, you're going to live stream this on your own channel. I'll definitely check that out when you go live. Thanks for sharing the link in your server. I'm not sure if any of your fans are here, but it's cool if they are. It's great to see. Yeah, there is a. I see your other comment. There's a lot of deck chairs. I'm just walking up and down the promenade here, and there's all these deck chairs. Yes. But yeah, I think you'll enjoy the demo. And actually, I want to talk to you about the little game you're making at the moment, the little navy battle game. That looks really fun. I really would love to have a go at that when it's ready. It looks really good. I've been watching your little live streams of it, and it's really cool. Is the Titanic fat? Yeah, she's pretty chunky. Like she's a chunky boat, as many boats are. Here's another close up the lifeboats because you were asking for them earlier. Yeah, very nice. Um, Lifeboats, really good. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat here. It's it's the Titanic that sank or the Olympic? Oh, it's the Titanic. Yeah, we don't talk about that here. The switch theory is not. It's not a thing that I agree with at all. It is. It was the Titanic. That's just the way we go. Like, I did see there was a girl on TikTok. Actually, that's the thing. Do you want? Should I be uploading shorts more? You saw I've done a few YouTube shorts. Should I be doing them on TikTok too? Let me know if you'd like to see that because I have noticed a lot of people are actually stealing. A lot of people are stealing my videos and putting them on TikTok. I've seen that someone has stolen one of my videos and it has like 5 million views on TikTok. That's really annoying because I contacted TikTok and asked them to take it down. And they were like, no, we can't. And I was like, why not? And they were like, because you have no proof. And I was like, here's my YouTube channel. What more proof do you need? And they were like, no, sorry. So yeah. Um, yeah, like it's just unfortunate, really. But I probably will make some TikToks. Um, and what was the original question we were talking about here again? Yeah, there was the girl. Yeah, so there was a girl on TikTok. See, I'm dragging on here. There was a girl on TikTok who made a video about the switch theory, just trying to make everyone believe that it was true. Uh, it's just not. If you come across that TikTok, just skip it and put a comment on it saying you're wrong because she is. Like, it's really annoying. She's using evidence that was like brought up like maybe 40 years ago and is really completely out of date and has nothing to do with any of the new evidence that's been found. So shorts are weird but surprisingly effective. Yeah, so for some people they are. For me, they're not. Like I've uploaded 3 shorts on the channel so far, and they've only gotten like 1 or 2 thousand views, so they're not really working out for me. A viewer of mine said they found me on TikTok with 10,000 views. Jeez, okay, interesting. I see your comment there. Let's play some Titanic stuff together. Multiplayer would be super fun. Absolutely, yeah. I'm down to collaborate with you on anything. Because I'm really the work you've been doing recently with the Titanic project and the Echoes of the Deep and the little Navy game is amazing. That could work really well as a mobile game. You should really look into maybe releasing that on mobile because I think it would be very popular as an online game as well. Um, what happened to the Titanic? It sank. it it sank. It hit an iceberg. It went down. Queen Mary, record-breaking game for a record-breaking ship. There you go. You're getting these names. You're just giving me a list of ideas. I have I was going to do a poll, but you know what? I'm not going to do a poll. I'll do it here instead. I was going to ask, would you like to see more narrated videos, kind of instead of animations, where I talk and I like so I could do a video on the life of the Queen Mary, but it's not really an animation. It's more of a history video where we're talking about the life and the voyages and all that stuff. Let me know if you could. Yeah, it could bring more viewers. That's what I was thinking, but um, because I really want to expand the channel because we're kind of stuck in a bit of a loophole at the moment where we're not getting new viewers and we're losing viewers as well. So I really want to attract a new audience. So definitely, I might consider doing content like that. One or 2 thousand would be viral for me. Yeah, and I mean 1 or 2 thousand views. That's a good. That's that's a lot of people. But my channel has had some serious viral videos over its lifetime. Like we actually yesterday, I was meant to make a post on this, and yesterday we had a video that hit 5 million views on a single video. That's just one video that has 5 million views, and it's just kind of it's a shame that the videos don't get that many views anymore. Obviously, some videos are going to be better than others, so it's unfortunate. We have expanded out into the documentary uh, universe. I've been really honored. Last year, I provided a lot of animated footage to various documentaries. I provided Titanic animated footage to Fox for a Titanic documentary, and then I actually supplied Lusitania animated footage for a documentary here in Ireland, and it was really nice to be able to give my stuff to other people that they could put on TV. So it was shown on TV, which was really cool. Yeah, Herman, I couldn't agree more because I was looking back at my previous, like I've done live streams before, but I've never talked in live streams before. So, um, they can be very boring. Like I'm surprised that people enjoyed me just walking around being completely silent, and I hope they enjoy this slightly more than that because if this works out pretty well, then I'm happy to keep doing it. Confederate, Confederate ships. There is a good bit of history on them actually. It's an interesting. It's not a history that I know much about, but it's something that I would really consider. It's something I'd really like to consider. Is your YouTube channel named after the White Star Line? No. So this is called Blue Star Line, and I'd like I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but I'm going to mention it again. We when I made this channel, it was way before Titanic 2 and Blue Star Line was announced. I just picked the name. I thought it was cool. And I hope that anyone from a professional standpoint does not associate this channel with that because that could damage the reputation. So no, we're not. We have nothing to do with the Titanic 2. I have been considering changing the name but I don't really want to change the name at this point because I've had it for so long, and I think it could confuse people if I change the name. So that's what's kind of putting me against doing it. But we'll have to see. You know, if it gets to the point where I'm missing out on opportunities solely because of the name, then I might have to consider changing it. But we haven't got to that point yet, so we don't have to. But yeah, just back on the topic of the narrated videos. I'd love to do it. I have a lot of ideas for stuff that we can do. It's just a matter of writing, because you know, with these narrated videos, writing is involved. You have to do a script and stuff. So that's something I'd have to. I'd have to like write scripts. Sorry, I don't know why I blanked there. I was reading the chat. I'd have to write scripts before I can record my voice, and then before I can edit the video and all that stuff. But it's something I really want to do, and I probably will end up doing it either this year or later on down the line, because I do need to change the content up. I have a video coming out on Sunday, which isn't a ship video. So I really hope you like it. It's I'm not going to tell you what it is now. I'm just going to say that it's a ship video, or it's not a ship video. um, where did you get the models for the ships? My friend Golden or Goldie poured ship models from 3D Warehouse for credit. Oh, I know Golden. Yeah, Golden's a subscriber of this huge channel. I haven't seen them in a while, but I don't know which models you're referring to. If you could tell me what model it is, then I would know. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the sub, the Henzy Gaming. Appreciate it. Um, have you been on Queen Mary 2? I have not been on Queen Mary 2. I have seen her in person though. I've seen her docked in person, which is pretty cool. I think I'm going to just leave it here, guys. I'll answer a few of your questions, but I'm not going to move around the ship anymore because I think I've seen all the spaces I wanted to see. Unless there's any other rooms you want to see, but I'll just answer a few of your questions here, I think, and then we might wrap it up. But as I was saying about the Queen Mary 2, no, I have not been on her, but I have seen her in person. I've been close to her. I've been a couple of hundred meters away from her, but I have not been on her. No, I'd love to be on her sometime. I would love to do a transatlantic crossing on her. I mean, there are a shipping company named Blue Star Line. There was a shipping company named Blue Star Line. They do not exist anymore. They went bankrupt in the like 80s, I think. But yeah, it was nice. Well, I wasn't on the Queen Mary 2, so I don't know what it looks like on the inside. But from the outside, yes, it did look very nice. She's a very nice ship. Last ocean liner as well. Hi, Superstar Lines. Good to see you. Although Lucas Gustafsson makes ship models for free, which he allowed Golden to put. Ah, yeah. Oh, you make them in Source Filmmaker. That's really interesting. Um, no, could you send? Are you in my Discord, Dauntless? You should send me your You should send me a video, some of your stuff on Discord. I'd love to see it because I love Source Filmmaker. It's a really cool program. It's a bit old, but it's amazing that you can still make incredible stuff now. Please send me some of that stuff. I'd love to see it. Those models are incredible that Lucas makes on 3D Warehouse, and That's great that Golden converts them for you. That's really nice. But yeah, please. Hey Herman, thanks for the sub. um, yeah, please send me on any of that. If you have any videos that you've made in Source Filmmaker, I'd love to see that. That's really cool. I just think we got to do a collab somehow. Yeah, definitely. Let's have a talk about it whenever you're free. Let's have a talk because I would love to collaborate with some people, and you're definitely on that list. So I just see someone wants to see the SOS room. I presume you mean the Marconi room. Um, cool, Dauntless. Yeah, send me the documentary and also send me the source filmmaker stuff as well because that's really cool. The source film. I'm talking too fast. The source filmmaker stuff is really cool. Definitely send it to me. It's really interesting. Yeah, I'll go to the Marconi room now, RMS Titanic, and we can have a look and see. No idea of what or how. Well, Herman, I'll tell you what. Maybe something we could do is we could do a live stream where one of us is exploring um, either demo 401 or something else, and we can just have the other person on as like a guest speaker in a call together. We could do something like that, um, which would be pretty interesting. I think it'd be a great way to kind of share our channels together with each other's fans to promote them. Which would be pretty cool. So yeah, just as I was mentioning the Discord server there as well, I've if there's anyone here who wants to help me try and reform it, I want to kind of I want to try and promote it a bit and get it up and running and make it more active because I'm seeing all these other ship channel uh, Discord servers that are doing really well, and I really want to try and get ours up there as well. So um, please, if there's anyone there who has experience with managing Discord servers and stuff, who wants to give a hand, let me know. So yeah, here's the Marconi wireless room again. We were in here earlier. I'm not sure if you were here at the time. So here's so go over little things. There's the fucking. Sorry, I need to. I'm Irish. It's part of my language to say these words. Sorry. Here's the This is the communicator, like the little thing you push down to send Morse code, and that's MGY there, which is Titanic's registration or her call sign kind of number, like a license plate on a car. Think of it like that in a way. Um, and yeah, this is a really important room because it played in the role of saving so many people's lives. Could you imagine if there was no distress call signals ever sent out? How would people know that Titanic sank? They wouldn't know where, they wouldn't know how, and they wouldn't know where to go to find the survivors. So it's incredible that the wireless operators were able to send out so many distress calls and as well until the very end as well. Yeah, definitely. So if that's something you want to do, Herman, we can definitely look at that in the future. Just find a day that we're both available, and I'd be more than happy to do that with you. You just sent the documentary on videos and stuff. Cool. And if you have the source filmmaker stuff as well, do that as well because that's some really cool stuff. I've never done source filmmaker stuff myself, but I've always watched people who've made like really funny videos in it and stuff, and it's really cool. Looks so complicated. Yeah, a lot of work. Sure, Morse code is like a different language. Pressing all the different beeps and dashes, it's a completely different language, and that's why wireless operators weren't. They were a separate company that White Star Line would hire to have on the ship to operate the wireless machines, um, because they were trained by a different company how to read Morse code. Cool, yeah, let's do it then. We will absolutely. I like talking to your Discord server. Do you have the same name on Discord as you do in on here on YouTube? Because see, I don't really have much time to interact with people on the Discord server, and that's something that I want to change. So definitely, once we can get the server kind of more like active, I will be interacting with it more. But yeah, I think we've actually. I could be wrong, but I think we've gone into every single room on the ship. And I said I didn't want to do that in this stream because I wanted to. Um, well, you can see it's moving very slowly. I wanted to leave some of it, but I think I've actually just done every space without realizing. Um, like Thomas Andrews. Is that your name on Discord? Are you Thomas Andrews on Discord? Because I know of a few Thomas Andrews on Discord, but are you that Thomas Andrews? You're William Murdoch on my server. Oh, okay, cool, good to know. Okay, because it's always confusing when people have different names on the YouTube chat than they do on Discord. So like, it's trying to figure out who's who. You know, source filmmaker, ship models, Golden's port are on his mega links. You'll find links. But have you made videos in Source Filmmaker? That's what I'm asking. Have you made like Source Filmmaker videos, or has Golden made Source Filmmaker videos? Because I'd love to see them. I think it's really cool. Yeah, I saw your comment earlier that you're William Murdoch. Yeah, the stream is really delayed. I'm going to change that for the next stream. The chat is really delayed for the stream, so I will prepare that for the next stream. I'll make sure that there's no delay on the chat so that I can see real time comments. Because it's really annoying when there's a delay. Usually you put a delay on it so you can like save your internet, but I've got fast internet, so um, I should really turn that off because I actually have the internet for it. I've made many animations in Source Filmmaker. Yeah, well then, yeah, send them on. I'd love to see them. I'm always yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you saw my message earlier, but I closed the stream earlier because I promised my community not to. Oh yeah, you told yeah. That's why you left earlier. Yeah, that's totally. I understand. I'm actually going to end the stream now. I think because I've been going for over 2.5 hours. So I think I've been streaming longer than THG have. Are THG still streaming, guys? Let's have a wee look and see. No, so well, THG streamed for. Oh, they just ended. Okay, they just ended at 12 minutes. Um, So I watched that for about an hour before starting this stream. So they streamed for nearly 4 hours. Okay, well I did about half of that. It's not as bad. Um, yeah, I'd be more than happy to join you, Herman, in that live stream. I think it'd be really fun. But yeah, guys, just here. I'm probably done with the game now. I'm going to end the stream in a minute. But if you haven't checked out Demo 401, by all means, please do. It should be available now. Here is their website. Titanic 401 should be available to download. Yep, there it is. You can download. I'm not downloading it because I already have it. Um, but that's going to do it, I think, for this stream. I love this new logo actually for Project 401. Very nice. That's going to do it for this stream, guys. I want to thank you all for coming out, especially for being really active in the chat because I was worried that no one was going to be talking in the chat, so I'd be just kind of silent again. But it's really nice that you've all kind of were active in the chat. So that's why I'm being so talkative because people are asking questions, which I love. There's another question here. I want to post Titanic videos because my great great grandpa was on it. Do you have any tips? That's really interesting that your great great grandfather was on it. Depends on what kind of content you want to do. Do you want to do animations? Do you want to do story? It really depends on what kind of content you want to do. I would just say if you're going to do it, do some research. You know, find out as much information about your ancestry that you can, so that you can include it in the video because that's really interesting. But yeah, feel free to comment on my documentary. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to check it out right now, actually, after the stream. Um, So yeah, okay, guys, I think that's going to do it. Thanks Gabriel for tuning in the stream. I appreciate it. Um, so that's going to do it for the stream, guys. Thank you so much for sticking on, especially for 2.5 hours as well. I really appreciate it. That's the longest live stream we've ever done. Um, Thanks, Hermal, as well. I'm really glad that you enjoyed the video. I'm glad that you like my voice because I saw before the stream started, you were like, oh yeah, do a voice reveal, do a voice reveal. So I'm glad that you oh, you want to do it in Virtual Sailor? Yeah, I'm glad you liked the voice. I'm really glad. And you want to do it in Virtual Sailor? Yeah, definitely. That's how I started. I started with all my videos in Virtual Sailor. So yeah, do it. It sounds great. Um, yeah, I think we can make some really cool stuff. I like you've got a great knowledge on game making, which is something I'd really like to improve on because I'd love to learn Unreal Engine as well. It's something I have a real interest in. I'd love to make some videos in Unreal Engine. I just don't have the knowledge of it. So maybe I'd love to learn off you. I'd be you could be my mentor. But okay, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're definitely going to do one of these again because it seems that you all enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that you did. Before we go, just a massive thanks again to Titanic Honor and Glory for giving me Demo 401 early so that I could make this live stream. They had given it to me a week ago, and I was going to make it like a recorded video, not a live stream. But then I decided I think it would actually be more fun to do a live stream, and I think it was. I think you can agree with me that it was better to do the live stream than it would be to do a recorded video. My voice sounds like Captain Smith. Okay. I don't know about that. I don't think I'd agree with you on that, but cool. Okay. And actually, you know what? Sorry, I know I said I was going to leave, but one more thing I want to mention. If any of you remember last year, I did do a video of the Titanic iceberg collision as an animated video. Um, that is something I would like to do more of. I had voice actors in that. It was the first ever video on the channel to feature voice acting. And we had 4 actors play different roles. We had them play the lookouts, the officers, and the captain, and it worked out really well. It didn't get as many views as I hoped, but that's just because of the way the channel is at the moment. But definitely, that's some more stuff I'd like to do. So we will be looking at lots of voices and more voices to come. Definitely, yeah. But okay, guys, that's going to do it for this stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's getting late here as well. It's coming up. It's past 1 a.m. here in Ireland, so I've been up all day. Again, thanks to Vintage Digital Revival or Titanic Honor and Glory's team for sending me the game for early access. You can all now play it yourselves. Um, if you're in my Discord server and play it and tell me what you think, because I'd love to know what everyone else thinks about it. Honestly, my opinions on it, it is fantastic. It has had so many improvements over the previous version of Demo 401, which was laggy. It was just, it was on the old Unreal Engine. It's amazing to see how much work they were able to do, and I think you'll agree with me when I say that it is fantastic, and I'm really impressed with the work. They should be really proud of what they've done. But that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to have to end the stream now. Sorry if I missed any of your questions. We'll do this again. And if you have any more questions,